Take a look at this. Real Madrid are about to send Endrick on loan to Lyon next week, the so-called Ronaldo Nazario Regan, a striker who, if you put him in a straight race into open space, will beat almost any defender alive. A player with explosive power and a brutal long-range shot. A forward built for chaos, speed and damage. And yet, this is the same 19-year-old who, before finally starting against Talavera, had played just 22 minutes across 22 matches. The message sent to a teenager bursting with hunger and intensity is devastating. And it becomes even more scandalous when you look at the attacking output of Real Madrid this season. Kylian Mbappe has scored 28 goals. Fine, he is untouchable. But then look closer. The second highest scorer in the squad is Vinicius Jr. with just 5 goals in 23 matches. After him comes Rodrigo with only 2 goals in 20 games, ending a run of 35 matches without scoring the worst goal drought ever recorded by a Real Madrid forward. Franco Mastantuono and Brahim Diaz complete the list with 1 goal each. That means every attacking player not named Mbappe has combined for just 9 goals all season, 9 total. And somehow Jude Bellingham with 4 goals and Arda Güler with 3 are outscoring Madrid's entire forward line apart from Mbappe. It is outrageous to think that a club like Real Madrid cannot score without one player. Even more outrageous that they refuse to give minutes to Endrick. And now, unbelievably, they are about to send him to France.
Breaking news, Real Madrid striker Endrick receives the first proposal for a loan move in the January transfer window. Negotiations are ongoing with Olympique Lyon in France. Lyon are looking for a new striker for January and negotiations are underway with Endrick camp.
This is the same Endrick who, in one single match, put Mbappe clean through on goal twice against Talavera.
Here is Endrick, ball into the box, here is Kylian Mbappe.
The same Endrick who, with barely any minutes and under desperate circumstances against Manchester City, smashed a shot off the crossbar.
Here's Carreras, determined to get the cross in.
Raw, fearless, ready. So how did Real Madrid and Endrick get to this point? To fully understand the duel Real Madrid are allowing themselves to waste, we need to go back to the very beginning of his story. Because some players are born to define an era, and Endrick is one of them. Endrick Felipe Moreira de Souza was born in Brasilia, Brazil, on 21st July 2006, into a very humble family on the outskirts of the capital. According to his father, he learned how to kick a football almost before he learned how to walk. Football was never a hobby for Endrick. It was survival, hope and destiny wrapped into one. By the age of 4, his talent with the ball was already extraordinary. But there was a problem. No money, no connections, no pathway to be seen. So his father, Douglas Souza, made a desperate but brilliant decision. He uploaded videos of his son's highlights to YouTube, hoping someone, somewhere would notice. They did. Brazilian clubs quickly became aware of Endrick. Sao Paulo, Corinthians and Santos all tried to sign him, but every offer failed for the same reason. The family could not afford to leave Brasilia and relocate to Sao Paulo. The dream was slipping away. Endrick had promised he would become a footballer to lift his family out of poverty, and that promise was hanging by a thread. Then Palmeiras arrived. The club stepped in when no one else could. They paid for the family's accommodation and even gave Endrick's father a job as a cleaner at the club's facilities. In 2017, at just 11 years old, Endrick joined the Palmeiras Academy, and from that moment on, everything exploded. Before he had even turned 16, Endrick had already broken the club's all-time scoring record across all youth categories. Goals seemed to fall out of his pockets. He won the Paulista Sub-15 and Sub-20 championships in 2021, his first major titles. His true explosion came at the Copinha 2022, the biggest youth tournament in Brazil and the ultimate showcase for young talent. In his first appearance, Endrick refused to go unnoticed. Palmeiras won the tournament, and Endrick was named player of the tournament after scoring 6 goals in 7 matches. From that moment, his name echoed far beyond Brazil. European giants started calling. The hype was real and deserved. Abel Ferreira wasted no time. On 7th October, Endrick made his first team debut in a 4-0 win over Coritiba in the Brasileirão.
Lá vem o Endrick, invadiu a grande área, fez o corte, foi pra linha de fundo.
Soon after, against Atlético Paranaense, he scored his first senior goals. In the very next match, against Fortaleza, he made his first start, scored again, and Palmeiras were crowned Brazilian champions that same day. After winning the league, Endrick became the first player in Palmeiras history to win titles at every single level: sub-11, sub-13, sub-15, sub-17, sub-20, and the first team. He added the Brasileirão sub-20 and the Copa do Brasil sub-17 in 2022. His final masterpiece came against Botafogo in the 2023 Brasileirão. Palmeiras were losing 3-0. Endrick put the team on his back, scored twice, added an assist, and led an unforgettable comeback. Pure mentality, pure star power. In December 2023, at just 17 years old, Endrick won the Brasileirão again. In doing so, he surpassed Neymar's goal tally in the competition before turning 18. And then in July 2024, Endrick's family and Real Madrid reached an agreement that would change his life forever. But not in the way anyone expected. Real Madrid paid €72 million for Endrick. And if we had to give a name to his journey at the Bernabéu so far, it would be simple: injustice. Because despite the lack of trust, the numbers are brutal. Endrick scores 1 goal every 86 minutes. In a Real Madrid shirt, a better goals per minute ratio than Kylian Mbappe last season. In total, he played 37 matches, scoring 7 goals and 1 assist. For an 18-year-old striker with almost no continuity, that is outrageous. Endrick already shows the traits of a classic number 9. Inside the box, his finishing is cold, precise, and unpredictable, placing the ball far from the goalkeeper with surgical accuracy. His powerful lower body allows him to shoot frequently from the edge of the box, and defenders struggle to contain him once he shifts his weight. We saw it in his first La Liga goal. Double marked, back to goal, he exploded with a Romario-like change of pace, created half a yard inside the box, and smashed a powerful finish across the keeper. No panic, no hesitation, pure striker instinct. His off-ball movement is just as dangerous. Endrick is constantly moving before receiving the ball, making him extremely hard to track. In the final third, especially in transitions after set pieces, his speed becomes decisive. Once he identifies space, he attacks it instantly, spending the least amount of time possible before driving at goal with the ball under control. That is exactly what happened in his first Champions League goal, a thunderbolt against Stuttgart. Endrick picked up the ball in his own half, carried it at full speed, sensed the moment, and unleashed a powerful long-range strike that flew past the Stuttgart goalkeeper. Confidence, power, personality. Sadly, the opportunities Carlo Ancelotti gave him were extremely limited. But in the one competition where Endrick was actually trusted, the Copa del Rey, the truth came out. With real continuity, he became lethal, 4 consecutive matches contributing, and 5 goals in 6 games. In the Copa del Rey, Endrick showed a huge part of his technical and tactical potential. In the final meters, he finishes with intelligence, talent, and ruthless efficiency. Just look at his goal against Celta Vigo in the round of 16. With his back to goal, he received the ball and, in a split second, spun around and smashed a powerful left-footed shot that was simply impossible for the keeper to stop. In that same match, Endrick showed his elite football brain once again. From a corner, the ball dropped awkwardly between his legs inside the 6-yard box, surrounded by 2 defenders and the goalkeeper. No time, no space. Any other striker panics. Endrick didn't. He pulled out a cheeky back heel and scored his brace. Pure instinct, pure striker DNA. With proper continuity, Endrick kept scoring in every round. In the quarterfinals, he found the net against Leganés. In the semi-final first leg against Real Sociedad, he showed one of his trademark movements. Endrick thrives in offensive transitions, attacking the space behind defenders. He positions himself between the centre-back and the left-back, drags the defender out of position, then darts inside and explodes into depth, attacking the space with perfect timing. That movement ended in a brilliant goal. The exact same pattern appeared again in the second leg. He ran off the shoulder, burst into the box and calmly chipped the goalkeeper. Composed, intelligent, deadly. With Endrick scoring and influencing every round, Real Madrid reached the Copa del Rey final against FC Barcelona. Barca won the match, and Endrick, he played just 9 minutes. Ancelotti abandoned the formula that had worked all tournament long and did not respect the role Endrick had earned in that competition. And that brings us to the present. A new season, a new chapter. Carlo Ancelotti left to manage the Brazil national team, and a new project arrived at Real Madrid under Xabi Alonso, a coach who excited the younger players, a coach known for developing talent, a coach who turned Florian Wirtz into a world-class star at Leverkusen. On paper, it sounded perfect for Endrick. With a player performing at that level, giving his life for every ball, the expectation was clear. A new coach arrived with a strong message: whoever runs more, whoever presses harder, will play. That was the promise. But the reality turned out very different. Unfortunately for Endrick, a muscle injury ruled him out of the Club World Cup, a tournament where Real Madrid looked strong in certain matches, especially against Dortmund and Juventus,
Alexander-Arnold,
but were also brutally exposed and humiliated by PSG. Still, the new signings looked good. Xabi Alonso made the team run, he made them press, even Mbappe bought into it. And because of that, expectations for the start of La Liga were genuinely high. From day one, Xabi Alonso was very clear about what kind of team he wanted. We saw it early, especially at the Club World Cup. A side with tactical flexibility, able to shift systems, but with one non-negotiable principle: high pressing and collective commitment. Everything was built around Mbappe, surrounded by players willing to work for the team. Xabi ended the ambiguity of the Ancelotti era by fully committing to the best player in the world. At the same time, he sent a direct message to Vinicius: if you want to play, you have to run. The Brazilian spent more time on the bench with repeated substitutions, and instead of collapsing, Madrid kept winning. Jude Bellingham was also absent early on due to shoulder surgery, which created a more balanced and collective environment on the pitch, with Arda Güler acting as the team's reference. Results followed immediately. Madrid won 13 of their first 14 matches, one of the best starts in the club's history. The football was not spectacular, but it was solid, competitive, and reliable. A clear leader. During that run, players like Mastantuono, Brahim, and Rodrigo featured regularly. The Argentine youngster in particular was crucial for Xabi because of his pressing, intensity, and willingness to sacrifice. His lack of goals raised doubts, but his hunger and tactical discipline gave Xabi exactly what he wanted. Mastantuono was a soldier, an example. But while results kept coming, the dressing room started to turn. Big names like Vinicius, Bellingham, and Valverde were unhappy with the coach's methods. Leaks began to appear, too many videos, heavy tactical sessions, too much demand on the training pitch, the classic Cold War between players and coaching staff. Vinicius became the public face of the conflict. He did not accept a secondary role, he did not accept the defensive demands, and he hated being substituted. Xabi's message was clear and consistent with his project, but the squad began pushing back. Everything finally broke on the day of El Clasico. Vinicius exploded publicly after being substituted with 20 minutes left. That reaction changed everything for the worse. The club chose not to step in. All responsibility was left on Xabi's shoulders. There was no punishment. And in that moment, Xabi lost the battle. From that day on, apart from isolated matches like Valencia or San Mamés Madrid, went downhill. Pressing disappeared. Brahim and Mastantuono vanished from the starting 11. Vinicius and Bellingham became untouchable. Valverde stopped playing fullback. After the Clásico, Xabi stopped being a coach and became an ego manager, exactly what he never came to be. His original idea was the opposite. He wanted a team where everyone ran, regardless of name or status. That's why he was initially hard on Vinicius and Bellingham, not to punish them, but to re-educate them, to make them understand that in his Madrid, you had to work. He always counted on them as world-class stars, but only if they committed to the idea. He chose to be tough, maybe not empathetic enough, and eventually he had to step back for the sake of the dressing room. Now, the footballing problem is obvious, and that reality completely pushed Endrick to the margins. Xabi could have used him as early as matchday 5. Instead, Endrick played just 22 minutes in 22 matches before the game against Talavera. That lack of trust, that lack of minutes, is what finally pushed Endrick to start looking elsewhere. According to ESPN, Xabi Alonso has already given the green light for Real Madrid's board to look for a market solution for the young Brazilian striker as soon as possible. And this is one of those decisions that, from the outside and maybe even inside the dressing room, are very hard to explain. It happened with Rodrigo in the summer, and now it is happening again with Endrick. Even though his loan move to Olympique Lyon until June is now practically a done deal, with the idea that he would return to Madrid in the summer, this operation feels borderline insane. A Real Madrid so dependent on Mbappe should never put all their eggs in one basket, especially when the attacking players around him are simply not scoring. It is an absurd risk taken by both Xabi Alonso and the board, and the few minutes Endrick was almost forced to play in recent matches only prove that point, because every time he stepped on the pitch, he left a mark. The first clear signal came against Manchester City when Xabi turned to Endrick almost by necessity due to Mbappe's absence. It was barely 6 minutes, but enough time for Endrick to smash a powerful header against Donnarumma's crossbar, leaving the feeling that with very little he can create a lot. Against Talavera he did not score, score, but he was central to everything. While others drifted through the match, Endrick tried to carry the team, took responsibility, and never hid. He was so influential that he put Mbappé clean through on goal twice, and all of this stood in sharp contrast with previous games where Xabi did not even use all his substitutions, leaving the Brazilian without a single chance.
Ha estado muy activo, muy vivo, con mucho cambio de ritmo, vertical, en espacios reducidos con muy buena aceleración. Después de tiempo pues no se le ha faltado la inactividad y le tengo que felicitar porque lo ha hecho bien y ahora es Sevilla, ese es el partido, es lo que tenemos en la cabeza.
Endrick will not get a second act to say goodbye at the Bernabéu. The red card he received from the bench against Celta means he will miss the match against Sevilla, the last game of the year. His departure to Lyon is imminent, with a return planned for July. And this situation proves two things. First, Xabi Alonso is making decisions far too early, one Mbappé injury, away from everything collapsing. And second, Xabi is becoming yet another victim of the power and ego that Real Madrid's stars hold over their coach. Was Endrick's last game for Madrid the one against Talavera? Who knows? What is clear is that in France, he will finally be able to express his football. And in Madrid, they may soon realise the massive mistake they have made. The future will decide what happens to Endrick, the new region of Ronaldo and Romario, now looking to shine in France, just like Neymar and Ronaldinho once did.